Strawberries. What's the point? One benefit of growing strawberries at home is the fact that they're perennial, meaning that you won't need to replant or repurchase them yearly or seasonally like some other plants. This makes them ideal for low-cost food access. They can vary in size, but their quick growth creates an agreeable production rate once a couple of plants are established in your garden. Once they get settled, they'll creep, and the next thing you know, you've got strawberries to spare. Berries are appealing to insects, which makes them a common choice for pesticide treatment from companies who will sell them at the grocery store. If this is something that raises concern for you, growing your own strawberries is a good solution. When you grow them close to home, you can keep an eye on who is taking interest in your strawberries, and you can choose what to do to deter them. Step 1. Steal yourself some strawberries. Tools you'll need: a shovel, rake and trowel, watering can. Find yourself a spot with lots of sun. Strawberries like about 6 hours of full sunlight each day. It also helps to plant them away from shade-casting trees so they don't have to compete with larger root networks for water and nutrients. In the search for sunlight, we went to the south side of the house. Check what kind of soil you're working with. We made a bed from what was basically a lawn, but the dirt underneath was quite rich. Now weed the patch and turn the soil over. It's going to take a while. The dandelions here had deep taproots that we had to remove whole to keep them from growing back. If you're working with a patch like this one, you'll be getting lots of dense grass clumps. We loosened them up with a hand rake, then dug them out with trowels or pulled up big chunks with a larger shovel. These root balls still have good dirt in them, so we shook or beat them to get that out. Please remove all clods from the garden. If you come across grubs like these, take them as far from your plants as possible. They'll kill what you're growing. But earthworms like this one are fantastic for your soil. There's a distinct difference between an earth-moving worm and a composting worm. Composting worms are smaller and nearer to the surface of the soil. Earth-moving worms are the large, shiny ones you'll find after digging down a few inches. They're more prone to consuming the nutrients in the soil rather than producing them like compost worms. You can encourage these two types of worms into your garden by maintaining a healthy amount of compost and using a no-till process for soil movement. Harsh tilling can lead night crawlers to decide that the earth in your bed is too dangerous to inhabit. You can also remove any small pieces of mysterious purple plastic. And more clods! For a spot that wasn't previously a bed, we needed to rake in some compost and fertilizer to enrich the soil. Compost is an essential addition to any garden bed unless you're specifically advised against its use. In the context of strawberry beds, compost is a huge advantage for your young plants, creating a rich soil for them to thrive in, discouraging diseases and pests, and thus creating less need for pesticides. The next step? Get muddy. You want the new dirt your plants are growing into to be saturated with water to help them get established. Once you've got the surface wet, it helps to turn the soil over, since the underside is usually still dry. It'll also help if you water the plants in their pots. This helps them keep hold of the dirt protecting their roots and gives them some moisture to start off with. As you take them out, try to disturb the roots as little as possible, providing they're not root-bound or tightly packed inside the pot, in which case you should try to pull them gently apart at the base. Next, it helps to plan out where you're going to place the plants. Strawberries need around 18 inches between each plant. We just eyeballed it here and had just enough space. There are multiple methods for planting strawberries. Here, we've chosen one that will rely mostly on their creeping runner capabilities to get them established, and so we've left them a lot of surface space. Once they're laid out, dig holes for the roots. What we did is test the depth of the hole with the plant itself, trying to keep the top about even with the ground or a little elevated, since strawberries are prone to root rot and are sensitive to overwatering. Once they're in, pack the soil around the base to eliminate air pockets that hinder root growth. Now, as you watch this vaguely aesthetic planting footage, it's good to bear in mind that the plants we're working with are already about 1 year old. The fact that they're already somewhat established makes the planting process easier and increases their likelihood of survival. You can plant strawberries from seed, just know that it's considerably more difficult. And more water. Don't do what Elliot's doing. You should try to keep the leaves dry. Watering around the base like this is better, or hooking up a gentle drip hose. Strawberries need regular watering, about 1 to 2 inches a week when they're producing fruit. These ones should be making fruit by June, but check when your variety starts to bear. And they're planted!
Yay!
Growing your own food is a process rich with benefits. Strawberries in particular are a resilient, bountiful, and nutritious crop, given their high production rate and low price, low maintenance, and the fact that you don't need to replant them yearly or seasonally. Care for your strawberry plants, and they'll start to care for you in no time at all.
Just funny. There are roots. They're like, they're like cackling. Roots and rocks into nail. Okay. Do you guys happen to know of any artist alumni stealing your children to give them better homes?